So today we will discuss some more topics of Cognos. So far we have covered the models, we have covered the report studio, how to build reports, and we have also talked about different little features of report studio. So today we will discuss a few remaining things of model or framework manager, and maybe we'll see the query studio. Now let's get started. So I would like to see I'd like to show you one more thing of a model. So let's say, if you remember, this is our sample database, or this is our model, which is test1, and this talks to a database called test1. Now if you see our test1 database, we have added a few more tables. As you see, we have a table called years, and we have a table called countries. Now to get them in the model, what we have to do is we have to do right click and then do run metadata wizard, and then we'll have to go through this process again. So we'll use the data source test1 to connect, and then do next. So this is connecting to the database and pulling all the other objects. So now it has connected to the database, and then let's see. So here you'd see we have the extra tables. Now let's say there are two situations. One is if you have an additional columns added to an existing table, then you can re-import that. So for example, we have if we have a few more columns added, or maybe some relations added, and we want to import them, so you have to re-import. Now the problem with that is that it will override the existing query subjects, which is sales. So sometimes what is done is that we sometimes create two separate models. One directly talks to the database, and another one is a shadow of the model. So this is something which is a more advanced feature, which we can talk later. But for the time being, let's try to import the new tables, which is years and countries. So these are the two one, and just give the default. Okay, so we are done. So now once you have this, you will see these two columns, countries and years. Okay, good. So now we have this too. So the next thing I would like to show you is something called drill down. Now, for example, Cognos has drill down reports. Now drill down reports are like, let's say you have you are showing a sales report. So now you have to start from at a highest level, let's say country. So when you see the country, and then you see the total sales for USA, and then you click on country, and maybe you can have regions. So then it will show you maybe 3 regions, and when you click on region, then you go to states, and from states you go to cities. So this is sort of as you can see, you are clicking through and you are going deeper and deeper. So this is something called a drill down report. So we will see how to create a drill down report. So to do that, first thing is that you have to, one of the ways you can do drill down report is that sort of a dynamic drill down report is you define first a hierarchy. So to define the hierarchy, meaning, let's say in our particular case, let's say we have countries and we have regions. So maybe when you click on country, you get regions, and then under region you can get maybe you can have cities, or you can have states, and maybe within states you can have salespeople. So if you think about a hierarchy where we start with country, and then we have regions, and then we have states, and we have under states we have salespeople. Now, since we don't have states, so we'll directly go from maybe countries to regions to salespeople. So let's first, to do that, let's first create a relation between country and region. Now the problem is that here, as you see, in region we don't have the country ID, so we have to add that. So let's go ahead and add that. So I have added the column called country in region. So what we have to do is that we have to re-import the regions query subject. So let's do that. So we again do metadata run metadata wizard, which is you have to select it at a root level, and then we select data sources, and then we can do test one, and we have regions. So now since we just select this one, country ID. So the thing is that if you select all this, then it will try to override the regions query subjects, and it may end up overriding. So overriding meaning it may end up wiping off the relations if we overwrite all the columns. So we have to figure out how to refresh. So let's see if we can refresh it. Looks like there is no refresh option here. Okay, so you remember I was telling you that in case the underlying data model changes, and here we have a situation where we have an added column in regions. Now we want to re-import it, but the problem is that the metadata wizard would not allow you to re-import unless you delete it. Now if we delete it, because if you try to import again, so as you saw that we tried to import but it didn't import, and the reason being is that it says that there is an object name already. So let me walk you through the process again. So let's say if you want to only selectively try to import the new column, which is our country ID, and if we import, it will see one object could not be imported because you have already existing object. So Cognos cannot override the object. Now if we delete it, then we lose this relation. See, if you see region with agents, so let's delete it, and then we'll recreate the relation again. So to delete it, you just do right click and then do edit and then do delete. See, as you say, it says that it will delete the relation, and if it deletes that relation, sometimes the underlining other impacted objects could be also invalid. So let's try to now get the object created again. So now we'll do region, and this time you will see we have the region with the country ID column. So let's move the attribute. So this is, and again change it to identifier, and this is again a identifier. So, and now let's go ahead and create the relation again. So region ID and agent, so they have create relation, and we say that each agent has only one in one region, but each region can have 0 or more salesmen. And now, so that's done. The next relation would be with the country and the region.